So so now we have to give. It's like this, right? I don't believe that Golovkin's injured. We talked about it a few days ago where Frank Warren said, the promoter of Billy Joe Saunders, said that the fight between Golovkin versus Billy Joe Saunders to be undisputed for the WBC, WBA, WBO, and IBF titles at 160 pounds is not happening in June because Golovkin is injured. But then you have Abel Sanchez, the trainer of Golovkin, right? The promoter or Golovkin's team says Golovkin's injured. The trainer of Golovkin seemed as though I forgot where I read it at. Basically, I think it was from Ring TV. Basically said, well, he did say that no, Golovkin's not injured. There's no injuries I've heard of. So common sense would say to me that if you don't know, Golden Boy Promotions, founder, owner, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, promoter of Canelo Alvarez, said something along the lines that if Golovkin fights in June, then he can't fight Canelo in September. So I'm going to think that, well, even though they want that title from Billy Joe Saunders, they want that Canelo money. And also, how are they feeling about him winning against Jacobs, meaning Golovkin's team? Do they know something, or he just turned 35 years old, if I'm correct? Are they saying, well, shit, Danny Jacobs gave you some issues, and everybody was saying you're supposed to knock him out. So maybe we need to take that Canelo money, that 10 or 15 million or whatever it is, before you fight a Billy Joe Saunders, who is good, by the way, but he might put some hands on you. Not knock him out, but Billy Joe Saunders is a very good fighter, and he could possibly, if he don't get knocked out, give Golovkin some boxing issues, especially with the movement. But Billy Joe Saunders has got to be in shape. So here's where things get crazy. Billy Joe Saunders and Frank Warren paid Avantadil Kurtsidis. He's a Lou DiBella fighter. He was the #1 contender for the WBO. And Billy Joe Saunders had 2 mandatories with the WBO. One was supposed to be, let me check it out. One was supposed to be Kurtsidis, and I believe Murata. Now, he talked about it after he had beat Wolverine, meaning Billy Joe Saunders. He had beat Logan. And he was talking about how shitty his performance was, and that now, he's not ready for Golovkin with the way he looks, so he was going to go on and fight his 2 mandatories. Well, something happened where they paid Billy Joe Saunders and Frank Warren paid, step-aside money to the mandatories to fight on April the 22nd. So Tommy Langford and Kurtsidis are fighting on April the 22nd for the WBO interim. Why is there an interim title? It's because the step-aside money was paid. An interim title is only put in place for circumstances like that, or if a fighter is injured. No other reasons unless you're the WBA, right? So you have number 2, Ryota Murata. He's fighting for, in another weird situation, he's fighting for he's fighting Hassan Endam for the WBA world title or regular title that Danny Jacobs lost to Golovkin. So the WBA is creating a whole nother title, but it's a whole different, again, that's a whole different situation. It's sad. But let's stay on topic. So now it's looking like Golovkin is not going to... Okay, we talked about it a few days ago. But now it's starting to come out in official media that yes, Golovkin is not going to fight in June. I mean, obviously, come on, we're April the 11th right now. We're April the 10th right now. So, of course, he would have to be in camp already to fight in June. You see what I'm saying? So, he's going to fight in September now. But here's where things get crazier. It's not guaranteed that Canelo's going to beat Chavez. So Chavez Jr. has the chance to fuck up a lot of money for a lot of people. He could fuck up the whole wheel. But then guess what? We can then see Golovkin say, well, fuck it. I'll go to 165 or 168 to fight Chavez for that big money. But what if there's a rematch clause with Canelo? Then Golovkin and his team can move on to Billy Joe Saunders. So now Billy Joe Saunders has got to find some opponents. And guess what? Get Danny Jacobs at him. That's what I say. Let me go look it up real quick. I say get Danny Jacobs at him, right? Where's Danny Jacobs going to be ranked? That's going to be interesting. You know, so if Billy Joe Saunders want to make some big money, fight Danny Jacobs. Because if you look at the 160-pound division, who else is he going to fight? You know what? Willie Monroe to make the step-aside money that he lost back. Now he's got to, regardless, he's got to fight the winner of, if Golovkin don't fight him, regardless, he's got to fight the winner of Kurtsidis and Murata. Or in a Trump move, what if Canelo, win or loss against Chavez, says, ha, that's what you get for falling for another verbal agreement, Golovkin, we're going to fight Billy Joe Saunders now. What if they did Golovkin over like that? There's so many scenarios. So many scenarios. Golovkin's mandatory is Turiano Johnson. That's his next mandatory. You know, and then after that, it's going to be the winner of Jorge Sebastian Hyland if he accepts the fight. And Jamal Charlo, the former IBF champion that knocked out Julian Williams and moved up for the WBC. And then for the WBA, again, it would be for that WBA World, Hassan N'Dam versus the winner of Hassan N'Dam versus Murata if those two get a deal done. So Golovkin's 3 mandatories. Once again, well, five possible mandatories. If he doesn't get Billy Joe Saunders, or if he doesn't get Canelo, you know, then it would either be Turiano Johnson, he's first in line, Hassan N'Dam or Murata, or Jorge Sebastian Hyland and Jamal Charlo. You know, so things are getting interesting around here. Things are getting interesting, but now it's possible to say, you can say that it's like this, right? He fought Golovkin, Jacobs happened on March the 18th. So they were saying that Golovkin versus Saunders would happen June the 17th. So he would have to go directly in the training camp. Now, what if they had knocked out? What if they had jumped the gun and thought they were going to get an early knockout and didn't have to do no work against Danny Jacobs? And they said, okay, we'll fight Jacobs in March, and then we'll fight Billy Joe Saunders in June. But what if Golovkin did take a little bit of damage or whatever the case may be? But this is a situation where fans are going to say, you ducked Billy Joe Saunders. He's not afraid of Billy Joe Saunders. But at the same time, I know he don't want to fuck up that money. Or as I talked about earlier, that Canelo money. You know, this is a 35-year-old man. That's the biggest money fight he can get unless he fights Chavez. Even fight Andre Ward or the winner of Kovalev versus Ward wouldn't be bigger money than fighting Canelo. You know, is that not the biggest money fight he can get? Unless Carl Fox come back and do it over in Wembley. Some shit. But that's just wishful super thinking. So there's so many different ways you can look at it. Let me see. What was I looking for? This is getting really, really crazy. So now you got so much that's riding on the back of my Mexican brother, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I want him to fuck everything up. I'm not going to lie. You know what? And it's like this. You may say I'm hating or whatever. No, I'm just picking a side. I want Chavez to beat Canelo. You know? That fight is very, very important. That fight is very, very important. And guess what? We got some Fight View 360 gear coming. I'm just going to leave it at that. We got some new, nice Fight View 360 gear. And soon we're going to be decked out in nothing but Fight View 360. So I'm going to let my partners do their part. Then I'm going to do my part. I'm like about three weeks away from getting everything taken care of. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep you guys updated on TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. All links to my social media right there below in the description box. Please subscribe.